Good day, everybody. It's Max, and welcome back to Dyson Sphere Program, the Wraith, you betcha. But in this case, it's the Zip. You know it, because we're about to set up for trying to do a speed run here in Dyson Sphere Program. Now, there are two levels to doing the speed run challenge here in Dyson Sphere Program. There's a 25-hour challenge and a 10-hour challenge. It's very similar to, like in Factorio, the 15-hour, and then of course there is no spoon achievement at 8 hours. And of course we're going to be going for both of those achievements as I continue to play catch up on my achievements list. I was literally 3 away from having all 100 when the Dark Fog came out. So we've got to work a little harder now and a little smarter. So before we get started, of course, a big thanks to recent subscribers as their names are going at the bottom of the screen. I appreciate the hit on the button. Of course, to live chat, where 8-Ball is having some argument with itself, but that's okay. And, of course, to all those watching later on, feel free to watch me at 2 times speed, because I'm just as entertaining as at 1 time speed, and your time may be tight. Your time is precious, and I can understand that. But, of course, I thank everybody for hanging out and doing all the things. At the same time, of course, this being a prep episode, we're not, it's not the most exciting thing. So this isn't on I didn't put this I'm not putting this VOD on a playlist or anything like that. And we'll probably have to do a couple of these preps. But yeah, you'll get to see me tear some stuff apart. We're going to try to clean some stuff up. I've actually already started doing some of that. And of course, at the same time, the initial speed run won't have the Dark Fog involved. So, of course, we'll be removing a lot of that hardware out of the way. Of course, we're going to be able to save some of that on the speed run as well. So, I should push buttons here. I should push that. And, wow, that's really dark, Max. There you go. Okay, well, it looks like it's going to work. So, here we go. 0, 1. All right, cool. Let's load this game up, and I'll keep an eye on the volume here for a minute. I think it's a little low, but that's all right. We'll make this work. Now, of course, I'm not worried about the Dark Fog for all this. I've got them toned down pretty harsh. We are back here on Maximus Prime. And, of course, we're just kind of having a look around. In fact, you may notice, for those who have been part of this series, in this case, will notice that I've fixed up some stuff here. So, there isn't a gaping hole here in this blueprint anymore. I've cleaned some of this up here. We are getting ready to move some of the material that's down below up here because, of course, we would like to have a few things for making towers once we get yellow science, and so towers and spaceships, right? Very important things. So we need titanium ingots and purple people eaters is a really big thing. So if I have a look at purple people eaters in here, purple people eaters require motors, copper, and I believe that's graphene. Yeah, graphene, right? So we want to have some of this stuff. If I put my mouse over the right thing, of course. So motors and graphene and copper. Well, the one thing about copper is that we don't usually take copper anywhere. Copper isn't actually part of a tier 1-2 mall. Yes, I could make copper part of the mall, but it's not usually part of the mall because copper itself is kind of a semi-product of other things that the mall uses, such as circuit boards, right? Or rings. So of course those kinds of things. Copper directly isn't usually used in the mall, unlike making a Factorio mall, for example. Copper doesn't really come into play in that kind of regard. Now, that being said, one thing that does come into play, of course, is motors. But we need motors for a couple of things. One of those things, of course, is the ability to make Tier 2 belt, which, of course, is a big thing in terms of our speed run efficiency. Another thing, of course, is the graphene. Now, we are making graphene. It is down here. We move down here just a wee bit. Too far of a wee bit. Move up here a little bit. There we go. Here's our graphene. So the graphene is being made here. So, of course, we do have graphene on standby. We don't make it in large quantity here because it's not efficient to do so. Graphene is made much better with fire ice, which, of course, is why we use Morana for that. It has all kinds of, well, it doesn't have all kinds of fire ice, but it would have the fire ice that we require for the speed run. But we still need a little of it here, which means we are making it the old-fashioned way with chemical plants and sulfuric acid. Now, sulfuric acid is used to make that, but it's also used to make the titanium ingots, which, of course, is always a little scary because making this acid takes away from oil production, right? Oil is your literally, I mean, it's very precious. Oil is very precious in the game. And anything you have to distract oil onto is just bad, right? That's why graphene, for example, we can use fire ice to make graphene, which saves us all this oil production, right? And you need, like about 20 machines of graphene in terms of speed run requirement. So we need a little bit to get off of this planet to make the purple people eaters, but at the same time, we kind of want this stuff kicking around, So it's a little scary. It's a little scary. Now, I am looking at this and thinking, maybe I should be doing something where I turn this box around. Instead of going this way, I would actually have things come out this way, and we would store the box over here. Because, I mean, really, 2 out of 3 items for making purple people eaters are right here. Like, right here. Well, no, that's a lie. That's not true, Max. Yeah. Well, okay. The purple people eaters and the titanium would be here, but you got to make the people eaters first, which means it's not here. Gosh darn it. Fine. Okay. Well, we still need these guys to go somewhere. And not to say hand feeding isn't an option during a speed run. I mean, the only trick is, of course, you try to do as little hand feeding as possible. So where is the copper up here? Now, that's the next thing. We got so much to clean up here. Yes, there's copper there. This copper is gone, but this would be the original copper. In fact, I think the only thing left in here is just what's left in these machines. If it wasn't for that, this copper would be empty. That's fine. But of course, what I'd like to have is to get the purple people eaters up and running. Would be to have a copper line, which could be right here. So when we put this mall in, we buried copper right here. 6 veins of it, actually. I wonder if I did a little editing here, we could get that copper back. We would have the motors here, and we could try to squeeze in maybe we could try to squeeze in something to make that work. Yeah, that has potential here. I mean, remember, we're about to destroy a bunch of this, right? That's all got to go. So, all right, first things first. Starting from the beginning, of course, when you first land on the planet, this is where we land on the planet. Of course, we land around this proximity. We run around to a few different locations. So we know there's coal vein here. We got some. We know there's an iron vein that is here, but the iron vein disappears after a while, right? So here we're gonna take these out of here for a bit, because that's nothing important enough. What were you guys doing? Well, you were doing. By the looks of it, you were doing coal. That's not a surprise if that's where that coal was there. I think the iron was right here, but that's okay. Right now, I'm just worried about the machines part in it. I can always go back to a much earlier save to get blueprints for the coal and for the iron. We already know that the copper's right there. Now, that first iron is actually really tiny. It's a tiny little iron, right? So we're not too worried about that one disappearing. The second iron, I believe, comes from down here a little bit farther, because this would be the line for that. And where's that coming from? Well, there's some coming from over here, but I know there's like a second iron that usually appears here. So we want to finish cleaning this up. It is a little disappointing. I mean, we do get, I do get chips here at the same time. I do got to fix this though. So let's continue on fixing this anyway. We you know, this is where we kind of want things to happen. That is not what you want. But this is right there. There you go. Look at that. So we're going to copy that, paste this. Now, what this does, of course, is this allows us to make this. Now that we've been kind of cleaning up. I've also been downgrading a lot of the belt work. Again, why would you downgrade it, you say? Well, that's because, obviously, in the early stages, we would not have Mark II belt, so you don't want to be making your blueprint with Mark II belt, because that would stink. I'll tell you right, that will go bad. We're going to actually take these 4 out of here. Turns out we really don't need them. And we're going to take this stone line, and we're going to make a little bit of a change here. So it would be nice if the stone came over this way, and we're going to take this stone line out of here. Now, the reason we're doing that, of course, is because I would like to have a little more room here to get this, to have this maybe come around this way. So we can do that. Of course, you don't get fancy machines like this. We got to go with what we would have. Have practiced a little bit with some really weird things. So yeah, can I have that 4th one? Yeah, we'll take that 4th one. And then of course I'm going to do this and bring that out to here, and then up like that. And of course then that's all going to be yellow belts, and I'm fine with that. That's okay. Now again, we're just trying to make a little room here because we want to in preparation for a few other things. Of course, towers are only one of the 3 things that we need that I would like to get out of the mall in terms of when we get to yellow signs. The other 2 things, of course, are drones and spaceships, right? That's what's going on here. Of course, we need to have this, so we do need a power pole here. Can we get that one right in there? And then maybe, all right, well, you would go here if I clean you up. So let's do that. If you get out of my way and I can see what's going on here on the other side. There we go. That actually looks quite clean. So that's why we have the chips here. But now I just noticed the other thing that we want up here. The other thing we want up here is going to be titanium. Well, of course it is. Making little engines. Steel and copper, again, is a big thing. Well, steel is right here. Let's see. I'm just having a look here to see how it is that we're kind of designing things along. So these original 2 lines, these are original lines for feeding stuff off. See, this is not original. This here is not original. This is going off to become weaponry. So that has to come out, right? We need to re-originalize these lines for the speedrun part. There we go. So that can now go in there because, of course, we get these stamped so as we can see what's going on with all this extra stuff. Now, that's why we're gonna have to clean a bunch of this up. Like this whole upper corner, this is all baloney, right? It's all weaponry, and that's stuff that we're not going to be researching on the speedrun. It's not part of the requirements, so we're going to be ditching a lot of that. Let's see. This is going to be I believe this is part of the original line for when down here for that original iron patch is what this is. So I am going to leave that in there for now. We know this makes steel. There it is, right? We can grab steel out of that box. Let's see. If you grab steel out of that box, what can you do with it? I mean, I could put one here and we get a free box out of that. I just don't know where I'm going to go with it. Well, I mean, you got to go somewhere. But that doesn't help me with these engines. There's our secret little motors again. Look at that. Motors are used so many spots. So many spots. It's almost like they all want to travel together in a little harmony. Look, that steel processors. Oh, gee whiz, right? And then you have titanium ingots, and it's like it all wants to happen in its own little bubble, and I want to provide that bubble to it as a part of a mall component that we might be able to use to make this happen. Is there a way I can make this happen? There's got to be a way. Gotta be a way. Here, take that out of there for a second. Kill that off. Mr. Johnson just got home from work. Looks like freezing rain tonight. Dude. Hey. It's got to be getting better here. I did see the news there the other day about how the fronts are slowly getting ready to change. So I am assuming that within short order, life will be somewhat better for you, because I know the whole freezing thing really stinks, right? Not used to that kind of weather, And I feel a little. Like I said, I do feel a little bad, right? Yeah, next week in the 50s. Well, I mean, which is better what you got right now. That's for sure. All right, so we put that there. We put them chips back there. I am going to block all this off at the moment. I don't want it actually making these when I hook these up. So let's see if I do this here and then I swing that back this way. There you go. Look at that. That works for me. So that's going to help with the chips and dip. I mean, you can get little engines that way. Big engines. I really like to have them motors up here, Them motors would work really nice. Really nice and groovy like. All right. Well, I'm gonna have them. That is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have them. I'm gonna have motors made up here. So, okay. How are you gonna do that? Well, I'm gonna do it like this. Okay. So far, maybe. All right, we're going to do that. We're going to put that there. Now, this will be our little engine intake. But where are you gonna shove these things out at? Like, you haven't got a box. What are you gonna do with that? That's true. I do not. Okay. Then do this. There's no rule saying you can't. Can we do that? Can we do that? And then we go one in this way, one in this way. Somewhat dirty. I hate that. I mean, it will work, because then that allows me to get a box in like this. Yes, in fact, I can get that box in a little cleaner if I end this right there. Right? Yes. Okay, let's do that. We'll do that right there. So you're going to be steel. You can't be steel because you need another thing. That's going to get tricky, isn't it? Yes, it is. Turns out to get steel, you need things. Sure, he says. It's only a temporary setback. I'm glad you think so, dude. Okay, so you're gonna be my spare thing, and then you're gonna be my steel thing, right? So to make that work, you're gonna have to go this way. You're gonna have to come all the way across. Okay. Then you get to come down here. You get to come out there, and then you're going to be one of these, like that. Right? Do this, do that. Lack of material. Well, yeah, I suppose you need to have a sorter to do that. There you go. Okay, so that allows us to get all this up and running. You're now allowed to make engines. Let's only make one stack, please, because I don't want it getting away on me. That's little engines for drones. That's great. Now, I have no problem with the handcrafting of drones as long as you have the pieces for the drones, right? You know, like you can handcraft a bunch of drones really fast. The trick is to get them down as quickly as possible, right? So that is fine, and of course we would have processors being made here. So now that's going to handle the drone side of things, but now we got to deal with the spaceship side of things, and this comes back to you need a bunch of titanium ingots. Well, making the titanium ingots up here, though, is going to be really tricky because it's going to be easier to bring that titanium down below and just bring it up here. As much as I don't want to be transporting stuff I don't want to do a sneaker network. Sometimes for the simplicity of a blueprint, it's probably better, right? So, he says. Let's go have a look at motors. Motors and things. So the other thing is that it's really too bad that you're right where you're at, because I would love to have a box. Okay, what are you going to do with that, Max? Well, if I can't have it all in one spot, I would at least have it together enough where I could try to get it in one piece. Sure, he says. Like motors and the things and copper would give me purple people eaters, but you also need motors for the engines. How am I gonna share these motors? How am I gonna share the motors? Sure. I'm just trying to think of a way I can make this happen here without pulling all my hair out. And then you got to get these circuit boards to go around this, because these guys up here need circuit boards. Well, of course they do, because that makes it so much easier, but not really. Okay. How are we going to fit you in there? And at the same time, I'm trying to keep kind of a semi-divisional line here, right? Like, yes, I can destroy pieces of this afterwards. I can save it and destroy it. It's just, it's really ugly. And I don't want to be making motors up here and then having to make green motors, because that's just gets foolishness, right? You start making motors up here and you need gears and all that. Like, that's all mall material. Like, you don't want to really mess around with that stuff. So let's see. It's the copper that messes me up so bad. I don't really have a solution. I just don't have a solution. Like, yes, I guess I can just keep making that stuff manually, but it would have been nice, especially for like small towers and things. I think it would have been nice just to have some of that stuff automated, but I can't see a way around it. Not without doing a lot of major redesign, which I'm really not digging. I'm not feeling it. You know, sometimes I don't mind some redesign, but I'm not really feeling a huge redesign. Yes, it's great to have drone motors, but maybe I should be trying to focus that design down here a little more. I mean, that can always be a thing. Look at all the waste here. Holy smokes. That's crazy talk. I'm going to have to start cleaning up a whole bunch of stuff. All right, well, let's do that, because that is something that has to happen. All right, so let's start emptying out some inventory here so I can actually start, like, cleaning some boxes out, get some things moved around. All right, so let's do that. So, I mean, this here is nice and clean. So I guess I should start tearing this apart. It does make sense. I should be tearing this apart. Because again, I have no need. I have no need to do this. We can replace these boxes with the new types of boxes. So, what are you doing? Yeah, you guys are going to cause me a headache here in about 3 minutes. I'm sure you are too, right? Yep, you sure are. So, let's take the bullets out. How many of them? Yeah, of course you got to have a box full of bullets that we're not going to be concerned about or use. So this line has to come out of here. Great. The next problem is, of course, is that we're not going to do this, and this line can come out of here. Great. And same with this line. This line isn't going to happen anymore, and this box can come out of here. That cleans both of them up really nice. Now, yeah, you can take that out. And we will now clean up these here to be a little closer to here, and then I can try and transfer these by box. Let's do it that way. So let's say there and there. Now, if I can put a box on top of that, and then I can start transferring these into that, like so. Perfect. Now we can take that out and take that out. We can now put this into there, and then just bring that right back out to there. There, that gets us our box there. Now for our rings. It would be really nice if I didn't have the overlap on the rings here like that, and I brought the rings out this way. Just prevents me from having, when I go to do this bridging part, it might be a little less messy, I think. So if I cut that there, and I put I'll probably have to move that down one more. Right about there. Sure, works for me. And then we'll put that on. Oh, come on. So it's a little crooked. Can't have that. Can't have it. I mean, even I don't go for that sloppy. Do this, do that. Okay, so now let's move these rings into here. Like that. Clean this up. Okay, and we're going to clean that up right to here. Are we going to try to allow it to do the new over stuff? Yeah, I think so. So what we'll do is we'll do it this way. We're going to have the new line come in here like this, and then the new line come out, and then just go over like that. There, that'll make that a lot nicer of a maneuver. And we'll trim that back 3 bars. Same here, just in case, you know, I need to try and ditch some stuff. There we go. There, that cleans up them boxes. Of course, this would not be here. These things are going to be in the way all over the place because, of course, we've been doing crazy stuff with them. So let's see if we can't just ditch some of this stuff for now, like all the bullets. Gee whiz. What's this going to give me? A mess is what it's going to give you. What's that going to give you? Okay. And what about you? Holy smokes, look at the mess in here. Wowzers. It's perfectly fine, he says. Okay. Well, that gets rid of them. So that cleans this all up. We have boxes. We have 2 going in, 1 coming out. Did you want to try and do something with that? Well, you're not doing anything with that at the moment. I'll tell you right now. You're going to have to put that into an empty box for a minute, buddy. Just do that. Yeah, stop ghost imaging that stuff. There we go. All right. Yes. So, again, we're trying to save a little power here wherever we can, right? I am perfectly fine with power saving. And so what we'll do is we will do this. Yeah, that's actually a little trickier than I expected. So we'll do that, because then I got really? All right, go grab some belt here, dude. There you go. All right, so now we take this. We'll shove it into here. But then we gotta shove it back out. Turns out. You know what? Let's do it this way. We will put the box over here, because then what we'll do is do this, and then it allows me to circle back around like that, and that allows me to get my my 2 inserters back in that I want, and allows me to do that at the same time. All right, and you can have that. We're going to cut that off to there, and that makes that look good. All right, so then you guys are trying to shove stuff out, but you've got no copper. Well, that's probably not good. Why don't you have copper? You have copper, but no silicon. Well, of course you don't. Because somehow I ended up accidentally taking that away from you guys. That was awful mean of me, wasn't it? Sure was. Where is some of those at? There you go. Put those back in your inventory. Put some of that back in your inventory. There we go. We'll fix that. And Sure. And then you got to find a way out of there, like that. That should be cleaning up and everything. Yep, that's now making that work. That's now working that. Good. That takes care of all that hoopy jazz. Hoopy jazz. All right, so that cleans that whole part up. Let's see over here. This actually cleans up really nice. This actually cleaned up really well. I'm pretty happy about that, actually. So we should clean up this box. This box, of course, very inefficient. Uses extra sorters, which power hungry as they are, we like to make cutbacks on that, right? These boxes don't use power, whereas the sorters do. So any place where we can save a little power, people, it's all about the power. Power hungry. Hungry hippos. And let me tell you, everything's hungry for power. So it's all got to go. It's a big fire sale. All right, so there we go. Let's put the box back on top of that. And we can shove that in there. And we'll cut that back to there for now. Just so it doesn't try to run more on that. So you're getting the rare stuff out. It's coming in. Actually, I need it to come in here because I need 2 lines coming out of this thing. So you would actually... yeah, I need you to go in there, dude. Oh, and you used the wrong color. That was awful mean of you. Yep. Downgrade all that. No upgrades, people. No upgrades. There we go. So the reason is that we will need some of these, which, of course, I have way too many in this box, and that's kind of scary. But that's fine. We can convert the box into a normal box, but we need some of those for building material, right? I know we do. I just what exactly I can't remember, but I know I need some of them somewhere. Gosh darn it! For building material, I just gotta find them. Do something. Oh, wait a minute. There was a. Oh well. Okay, signal towers is a thing, but I'm pretty sure I need them for something else. A little later in my life. Oh yes, accumulators will need them, but we're not really going to go for accumulators on the speed run, per se. Nope, you don't need them for that. And yes, we do need them for some things, but we're making a fair amount of them on the other planet. Again, here they're more just for crafting instead of handcrafting. So I'm just looking to see where they fit into my life. Is it underneath these guys? No, it's not either. It's not the pink goo. The pink goo couldn't care. It's like, yeah, that's just glass and circuit boards, dude. You're good. Well, I know I need them somewhere because I always make a little box of them, so that's fine. They can just sit there. Thor, what's up? Yeah, prepping for the blueprints. So I'm going to fix this box while I'm here. Let's do that. How many are in there? Oh, yeah, no problem. Let's fix this box right now. So, yeah, we're going through. I've already cleaned up the initial smelter's mall. So it is all cleaned up. I got all the machines straightened around. The ones with the spaces, cleaned them all up. We cleaned up these boxes to now be new with the new splitter boxes, right? So as they're holding the splitters accordingly. I don't know why. I guess I always make an extra box. I always make a box of gears at the beginning until I make them all because it's always hard to get gears. But we got that all done up. Straightened all this out. Even got a little bit of the advanced stuff done here where it can make its own orange circuits and its own drone engines. So we can set that aside. Now I'm just cleaning up the silicon that we're making out of stone. Again, we don't make a lot here, and we don't need a lot. This here just kind of gets us off the planet so as we can go make it in mass over there, right? But we do need a little bit of it, so of course I do want to clean this up enough that that we can do that. The other thing, of course, is we do. what we want to do is keep an eye out for belts I've used, right? So it's very easy once you start getting into green belts to just start slapping them down everywhere. But in these early stages of building, you're not going to have access to green belt, right? You're only going to have access to yellow belt. So things I've accidentally upgraded, right? We got to make sure, like, see these guys? These are all green belt. Yeah, that's not good, because these would not be green belted. These would be yellow belted until such time as we could get to green belt. So by the time I'm making all this in the speed run, we would not want to be using green belt there. So I have to go around and fix those little parts up too. That's just part of the exercise, right? You got to go around, you got to clean up this part. This was copper, so I guess we're leaving that alone. All these bullet sections, I'll have to destroy all these in a bit. I'm not too worried about that. But that now cleans up silicon and crystal silicon, and that cleans up this stone here. Which of course is in fine shape. That cleans this up. Okay. Now for the belt work over here. So obviously we are, again, I'm not worried about all this military stuff, right? Yes, really cool at one time, but not needed anymore. In fact, I'll be very tempted to just blow it all up, actually. But it is important for things that we were using it for. So we should do something like that. Take these lines out because obviously when we go to blueprint, we don't want to be blueprinting lines that are pointless. We should put that in there. Put that icon on that so as we can see what's on these lines. Okay, there we go. And that's just and that's the other thing I'm doing too, right? Is I'm just kind of labeling the lines better so as I can see them, like, during the blueprinting stage. It's like, oh yes, that's where the green circuits are. That's where, stone is, right? This is glass, right? So you can see this stuff without guessing at it, right? Okay. So we can go down here. This is where the original iron comes in from that patch that's not there anymore. So this looks good. This looks fine. This, of course, is the original coal patch that we use for doing graphite, right? Yeah, energetic graphite. Is that? Yeah, graphite. All right. And then, of course, that's what gets our initial red science up and running. Which, of course, this I did change in the design. From my initial design, of course, I usually put red science right here behind this. But I kind of like this extra room now. I've gotten kind of spoiled with this this little extra maneuver here. So this, I will be keeping it like that. And, of course, then we'll have to, when I re-blueprint it, we'll make sure that we take those lines and go that way with it. I see I have a free line of tower here, bringing in extra coal. How nice of me. Not really. That just makes things messy here. Gosh darn it. And of course I keep flying over this water, which is driving me crazy. So, because you've got graphene going up, graphene coming down. I'd rather get rid of this coal line at the moment. Yup, I'm going to do this. Right. Let's double check these lines, make sure that they're all downgraded lines, right? Yes, they are. Good. And of course that one is as well. Okay, very good. This, of course, is the original coal that we'll use for these. This tower coal and this this copper and all this stuff. Yeah, this all looks really good, but this tower slapped in later, so I'm not worried about that right now. We just want to make sure we can kind of pretty this up a little bit. Do I want to keep that graphene line in the air like that? Well, I do, actually. I think it would be okay. I wish it did start just a little bit past this bridging, though, because, of course, all this gets a little confusing here. Let's get rid of this thing, because it's not a necessity as part of the blueprint process. We can save 3 belts there. That's not going to be needed as part of the blueprint process. This comes in. All of this comes in. That's fine. This is bringing iron all the way from down here. It is what it is, but ugh. The things you have to do. Sure, he says. That's part of the oil line going out. Might actually do this. Just to kind of do that. Is that too high? It is too high. All right, listen, just a second. Okay, 1, 2, and 1, 2. Again, this is where like cleanup is important, right? So, you know, trying to reduce, like, the oil setup is going to be totally separate from the mall setup because, I mean, the two of them don't even play together. You need the mall setup so as we can actually get the oil drilling to make this in the first place. So when I go to blueprint this, the one thing I'm not going to want to do is have any interfering lines from each other. Now, not to say is this this science line, this orange or this yellow science line isn't going to cause me a headache. But I can always take it out and reload and then save it again, right? So I'm not worried about, as long as I know I can separate most of that, that's fine. All right, so that's what we're doing there. Let's see. All right, so we got this here actually is, the mall itself isn't too bad. Did make a couple of side tweaks here I'm not really happy about. Yikes. So how do you want to fix that? Because it's kind of ugly. All right. Sure, Max. Well, I mean, that's power poles there, dude. So how do you want to do that? It would have been really nice if I had made the mall too wider. Ugh. I'm not moving the whole mall for too wide. Let's try to make this as painless as possible. Sure, he says. It's perfectly fine. Okay, so how are we going to make that as painless as possible? We'd like it to go into, well, yes, you need them into a box in case you need something. How many are in there? All right, there's only 200 in there. All right, well, let's do that. Let's do this. No, you got to go this way. So if you do that, and you do this, okay, you do that. This will be the light poles. Do that, and then you could run this line up like this. That's an idea. Can you make that happen? I don't know. That'd be awful tricky. Yes, but if you do this, right, and then we do a thing on top of that, and then let's see, then you have it come out of this box into here and then back out to here into there. does that, and then can I make that go back into this box? No. Well, probably, but it wouldn't be the best. It'd probably be better to shove it into a new box. And of course, I mean, I'm being fussy here, right? Because, I mean, why not? I mean, if we can make it look good at the same time, then we should do that. Because that's a thing. I mean, you know, looking good is, you know, is also a thing. There's nothing wrong with looking good. So, that is how that works. So if we do that, and I get you to spit that out here, then I get you to pull that back in here. And then I get you to, we'll do that. We'll just make that happen like that. Then, let's take this. Yeah, give me that. Collides with, I was going to say, you better not be colliding with any object, buddy. Do that and do this. There, that's going to get us those power poles. You forgot to put that one in here. Now, of course, we are going to take off the drones. Of course, drones aren't available. That's not going to happen. And that looks really cool, but that isn't going to help us during a speed run. So those have to go. All right, well, that cleans up that. And that actually works out really well. Yeah, I think that looks really good. And then that gets me exactly what I want there. So that takes care of that part of the mall. What do we got going here? You needed steel. You got steel. What's going on here? This doesn't look like this would work. Oh, okay. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. All right, that's fine, I guess. Can we clean that up just a little bit? Can you make that look... Oh, no. I didn't say destroy it. I hate how you have to double-click the mouse all the time. Like, I click on this, and I do that. But then I click on the next thing, right? So if I click on X, and I'm like, okay, I'm done with that. And then I go to click on the next thing. It seems like half the time you gotta click on it again before you can use it. Right? Like, see, it still hasn't picked it up. I got to click on it again. You don't want to do that one. All right, that's fine. Do this, do that, do this, and do that, and do this. And here, have that. All right, there you go. All right, so I guess that's how that one's going to work. Because that one's pulling in this way, that one's pulling in this way. That is getting oil there. And then you're also, this guy does two jobs. He does chemical plants. He also does oil extractors. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with there. And this guy, of course, he's my lab guy, so he does labs. He's okay. Now, the triangles, of course, aren't, I mean, well, first of all, we shouldn't need that many. But the triangles really aren't for the triangles. They're for the purple goo, right? When we need to make photon combiners, just to kind of do a little bit of side research, it's nice to have some triangles just pre-crafted, just like these, right? They're nice to have pre-crafted. So that works out good there. Of course, those are being made. Those are being made. That's actually not a bad number for those, because anything after that is kind of pointless anyway. Okay, so then we have engines being done. Now, I did mess around with this a little bit. And I did this because I wanted an extra set of engines to make more green engines. Because it turns out green motors, we're using them all over the place. So I don't regret doing this little setup. And I guess it's not bad. It's not a bad setup. You're planning on using the new highest tier buildings via fog loot. yes and no, right? Because I won't have any fog loot for the speed run. I mean, yes, anything that's new. I may actually do buildings. So let's go over here, for example. During the speed run, I may actually go for battlefield analysis base, right? And do that, right? To put it down so as I can have like the extra drone builds. That being said, I might go for engine because it's a nice cheap fuel source, right? And we like that. But I might get Babs just because, like in the early part of the run, until you get more drones built, we might be able to take advantage of these to get in a little bit of extra. They do require them silly things up here, semiconductor material. So I'll see how that goes. But so there's a few things I probably would get from it to do that. I'm assuming you're talking about the Babs themselves, and they get 3 times speed, right? But I mean, you know, like there's some things here. Like again, you gotta watch out how much science you're throwing at stuff, because this was, I'll admit, the dark fog technology was a black hole. I mean, it just ate cubes like crazy, right? One of the things I will say when I used my my blueprints for doing this. This was all this unexpected extra science that you needed to get all this extra research done on this really did eat up a lot. And the extra resources afterwards I was not ready for. So, you know, all the extra, like, you know, explosives and all the extra copper you needed, I must admit, it did catch me off guard, right? Now, we don't need that for the initial speed run, but we will need it for the other 2 1-hour challenges where you have to attack a base within an hour and you have to attack the dark fog within an hour. So on those runs, we'll be coming through here, right? We'll be doing the initial stuff here, right? Getting blue science, and then basically we'll be dropping down here and pushing towards attack drones. We'll have no choice. I mean, you'll never get Corvettes in an hour, so I'm assuming they must be talking about attack drones or precision drones. I'm assuming this is the only way we can attack the space stuff, right? Because without this, one of the 2 1-hour challenges for an achievement is to kill a planetary base. Okay, well, that's not too hard. We would do the research, come down this way, and then do weapon systems and missile turrets. And we know we can take out a planetary base no problem within an hour, I would think. The problem is going to be the space base. You got to kill that within an hour. Well, I would say you'd have to come down to... yes, your Icarus could do it if Icarus was really careful. Which might be a thing, right? Because, I mean, you know, but it would be nice to have at least precision drones or some sort of attack drone, right? I think is what it is. Self-evolution labs for faster research, tier 4 assemblers. Right, but I'm not going to have any dark fog shards, right? So dark fog stuff isn't going to exist, so I won't be able to get that research. Tier 4 assemblers, you would never do that stuff in an hour. You're not going to get to tier 4. You're not going to get to any of this stuff, right? This stuff all up here, this isn't going to happen within 1 hour, right? Let's see. Self-evolution labs for faster research. Well, I mean, that sounds good, but chances are you're not going to get that in a run either, right? I wouldn't think. Now, I mean, I'm just, this is a first day, and this, of course, is, you know, just the first time having a look at it, as in terms of in prepping the run, right? So, I mean, it may turn out that I can do something with it. If that's the case, groovy, right? But if not, then I'm not going to worry about it at the same time. What do we got down here? Mess. Holy smokes, the amount of mess these guys collect. I will say these things are really good at collecting mess. You know, so if you've got a mess around, hey, no problem. They just go around and they pick up the mess, and it's great. I will say that. Let's see. Now, I did say earlier in the stream I kind of want these back. So, what does this mean for me? And how much is it going to affect my life? First of all, can I raise the roof? No. Okay, so there is. I guess maybe I could try this little cheat. Let's see what I can do. Right. Okay, so I can do that. Come on, figure it out. You know, yeah, there you go. Yep. Now, what am I doing here? Well, turns out I need some copper, right? And there happens to be buried copper here. And as long as them lines aren't interfered with, I am perfectly fine with this. Yes, I do need a power pole here. We'll do something like that. Okay. So that actually looks like that's going to work. I'm happy about that. Let's see. Now, the reason I wanted them is because... Not you. Well, you, but we're doing you up top now, so that's fine. I don't need to do that down here. I guess maybe I was going to do engines down here, but now I'm not going to. I'll leave them there for now. They're not hurting anything. I had some idea I think I had in my earlier brain, and I knew I had that copper there. But it's nice to see that I can pull that copper up, and it's not going to interfere with the lines that are there once I've got them unburied, so that's perfectly fine. This all here, though, works out really well. And now this is a junk box. This has to come out of here. Can't be having these junk boxes in the way for the blueprint parts. Oh, we get so much junk. I mean, it's crazy. Look at this mess. Look at this. This is something I'll have to take care of offline, obviously. Like, you can't have all this junk everywhere. I mean, it's just, you know. I mean, it's not junk. It's good stuff. It's just not good stuff that I need right now, right? Like, how is it, you know, like, you know, you got all these boxes of things. Oh, gee. All right, listen, grab... Oh, I got no more big boxes. Oh, gosh darn it. I'll have to get some little boxes. Yes, I would have to bury it. I would have to bury it first, right? But I would do that anyway. I would bury that copper. I would put the blueprint down, and then I would unbury it. I mean, it's only like 20. It's only like 20 foundations, so it'd probably be all right. I would think that would work after that. Don't take that out of your inventory. You need that stuff. You actually need a lot of this stuff. Well, you need some of this stuff, but you don't need all this stuff. Take all the sciences out. Well, hold on to the rest. Oh, yeah, take them out. What's that thing? Laser turrets. You don't need them on your inventory, and we're going to take that out. All right, very good. Let's go down here. We'll clean up this box, because it's got to come out of here or I'll forget about it. Okay, you. All the things. Let's see if we can't, like, ditch some of them. Let's see. So oil is up here. Here. Take oil. Drop that in there. Can we drop it in there a little faster? Be awesome. No, I want you to... Yeah, get rid of it. Don't add it. is. All right, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. Here, you can have 17 oil. Congratulations. There you go. And 3 acid. You can go down here. I mean, for the amount of acid, I could just throw it away. Yeah, just, you know what? Maybe that's what we should do. Do that. Ditch that. You know what? Ditch that too. In fact, ditch all this stuff. Like, you don't really need this stuff. All right, there we go. Gone. Poof. Clean up. Do that. All right, there. And I see that all that happened is that there's a bab around here somewhere that probably cleaned half of that up, but that's all right. I'll deal with that later. Okay, so that takes that box out. Excellent. This is in. This box is in. I really do wish this was not like this. So, how can I'm going to try and change this just slightly. Let's take this one out. Let's take this out right up to here, like that. Do this, do that. Now, the reason I'm making this change here is because I'd like it to intersect with this line. I don't want them to share 50-50. So, if for some reason iron is able to get all the way through here, then I want it to continue on first. Then, if there's openings in the line, it can use these ones here. But I don't want those being used first. So that's actually the better setup. The only thing is, of course, is now I got to fix the power pole situation. But that's not the end of the world. It just means I gotta make a slight adjustment, something like that. There. So that's actually a little better. This is totally pointless. You can keep those. But everything else in this box can be destroyed because it's ugly. Boop. There you go. And take that out. Nice. Let's see. So that's going to take care of all that. This is my extra iron, which fills the rest of that line because, of course, everything here is hoggish. I guess that's one way to put it. Everything here eats up a lot of iron, right? Now, the reason there's very little iron coming down this line is because this line has run out. This line has no iron coming back in on it. This patch has run out, but I'm not worried about that. This would be a full line of iron, which would make this a full line coming down. But these are just running empty. Everything's just running empty at the moment, right? So if I come down here, yeah, so like this is all empty. Like we're only getting like 2 smelters out of the 12 that are working here, right? And that's fine. I'm preparing this for blueprinting, not for not for anything else. So that takes care of the mall. That being said, I'm still not happy. I couldn't figure out a way to get purple people eaters up here. I really would like to have had that. In a way. But there's just no way I'd get the purple people eaters in here. And the iron. I don't think. I mean, I could get 2 of them in here. I could get them in here, and I could get the copper here because I can just run this copper line out here. But the third thing, maybe I should do that. Is that going to make it real messy? Probably. I don't know. Well, let's try something here, I guess. So, can I run this out here? No, see, there's not enough room here. It's getting squeezy. It's getting just too squeezy here. Can't get up in here. I don't think even going up by 1 makes a difference. No, I didn't think so. So that's fine. That being said, though, I still would like to have it up here. So what can I do about that? I do got to be careful because there's I got to look at earlier maps because we would also have to have power, and there is an iron deposit here somewhere that I got to deal with too, right? Going to bother setting filters in depots for later tabbing items? Maybe. I guess maybe I could probably do something about that. That is probably something I would do. With doing a splitter depot, with the splitter being a 2-level, let you run belts between over ground level belts. Yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, I could try to do some weird splitter thing into this box. The problem is this box is a level box. But I could try to do something. Okay, wait a second. Let me think about it. Do this, do that. No, guys. No, stop doing that. Okay, so if I do this, I do that. All right. And then rotate? No, I can't rotate. Do something like that maybe? Can I get this line out of here now? Right? Listen, I need some tier 1 stuff here. All right, do that. Take that. Yeah, see, the problem is no, let's try this for a second here. Do that, do this. If I do that, and I have this guy coming in here. I have this guy coming in here. I have him unload there. Him unload there. Then I put a box on top of him. Yep, look at you go. All right. Cut that box back so as we don't do that. Now, can I get this line coming out of here? Right. Yes, I can. I can probably make this work if I get rid of this. But I gotta do a little bit of modification here, and I really hate it. Okay, do that, and then if I do this, something like that. Okay, and then I run it down this way. Not too much of it though. Let's not get crazy. Here, we'll cut that all back. So that's going to do that, and then I can do this. Okay, do that. Well, I gotta furnace these first. I just realized this isn't going to make you copper, dude. This is just going to make you raw copper. This isn't going to make you copper. And again, I gotta be concerned because I am not going to have. We're gonna have to do this now. I probably only need like 2 of these furnaces, so I can probably just do it like this, right? That third furnace was a bonus, but I don't really need it. Okay, so now if we do this, right? Put that in there. And then this line can come down here like so. And then this line can come down here like this. These can be 2 coppers. We'll do that. Do this. Right. Except that now you're going to have to put that line down this way instead of that way because you've got 2 machines here, you goof. Now, you can... you need a box. Yes, you do. Because you still got to bring up the third element. Yes, you do. You got to bring up the third element. I mean, you could put the box there. I mean, it's not like you're going to be making a lot of these at once. And you could filter it back out. So you could do a box like this. Do this that way. You don't even have to put this out on a line. You can just go like this. So, please do that. All right, so you're purple people eaters, right? You're going to be my copper coming in. Okay, you can be my motors. You're going to be the rest. I don't even think I have some of that on me. That's fine. Let's get these started. Just so as we can see this working, right? Because purple people eaters are a big thing, right? I mean, if I can get these automated and I can get them automated up here, that'd be awesome. Because then that just saves me one less headache for a lot of things. So now we'll just go down here. We'll pick up a little graphene. Right here. Blink, 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 blink. Yep, right here. Here, pick up a couple of hundred graphene just to take up here for a minute. And we'll slam it down here. Okay, a couple hundred graphene. And of course, we just leave the box open because it's going to shove purple people eaters back into it. How many will that do? A minute. It will do 11.3. It's not bad, but let's do a little better, shall we? All right. How are we going to do a little better? Well, we're just going to put 2 of them in. All right. Good plan. Okay, so we're going to do this. We'll do the box in the center. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. Okay. Do that, do this, do this. You guys can come out. You guys can go in. I'm probably going to have to set filters to these to make sure that they're not pulling out the things. There we go. So yeah, there we go. And then I can slap those back in there like that. And that's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then this should be purple people eaters. Like that. Perfect. There. So that gives me 2 machines of purple people eaters directly connected with the mall on 2 items. And that actually works out really good for me. Right? That actually makes me pretty happy because that means I don't have to do a lot of running around with that, as I would be off doing crazy things. Now, obviously, I would let these boxes fill up with a lot more motors. This has its own dedicated motor line, so I don't have to worry about that. This one is sharing a motor line, and this one is dedicated to that, so that's fine. In that empty line, you could toss an inline splitter with depot for carbon nanotubes. You mean in right here where there's this empty slot, but the carbon nanotubes would require like like labs, like it would require this down here, right? Like these. Where am I? Where's my labs? Yeah, my chemical labs, right? I mean, you're not going to just put down carbon, get carbon nanotubes out of that. I don't have any carbon nanotube machines? Oh, gosh darn it. I don't have any chemical labs on me? Well, I have been emptying my inventory. That's fine. So, all of this down here, I'm actually happy with this blueprinting method. I've actually been fixing the boxes up. So I did fix this all up. Now I can't replace this with a splitter top because I actually got a bridge over this oil, right? So I'm fine with, like, you know, some things. And this is where you start getting into green belt anyway. So I'm all right with the green splitters here. Sorters, my bad. So that's actually okay. The one thing I was thinking about doing, though, is adding one more oil field to the run. So oil comes all the way down here. It actually doesn't do too bad, but it does kind of get stretched into the second part. Now, you got to remember, we're not doing anything, so things are building up at the moment. But when science is fully running, this tends to be really short on oil, and I thought about putting in one more oil field right here where we've got all these crazy missiles at, is probably something I'm going to do. So this blueprint here, I will probably fit in one here, and then actually take the oil outputs of that and connect them here, so as they will have that extra option. But I'm not worried about that at the moment. This is just cleanup. This is me tearing this all out. So that's good. But the blueprints for these itself is fine. The blueprint for this is good. The blueprint for this is good. This I'm perfectly happy with this. That blueprint works out fine. The next thing I got to do is this. Actually, this new layout for the science actually works out really well too. I'm really happy about trying to take that red out of there and then moving the lab, like the central labs, up here. This here worked out great. This is much better than my original design, though all this crazy military has got to come out of here. And I may have to shuffle around a little bit of this science. Obviously, I'm not going to worry about having military all over the place. Now, not to say as I'm going to destroy all this and not use it. Again, we have 2 1-hour runs that we have to do with the fog, so I may actually save some of this military stuff, and then I will then, as part of blueprinting, I'll still blueprint it, just not as part of the initial speed run, right? So even though I've taken all the lines out for that right now, I do have the save for this before I did that, so I will probably go back to that save and try to incorporate some of this as part of getting ready for that attack, I guess. The other thing is I can just do this here. I don't have to be anywhere specific for this. I'm going to kill that. Yeah, bye-bye. Okay, there we go. I want to fix this. Okay. Yep, there we go. Bye-bye. I'll leave that there. So, a lot of blueprints... a lot of the blueprinting on power plants, we're having a lot of problems getting the miners to float around things. So in my case, I'm probably just going to do some simplistic blueprinting on this. So basically what I'll do is, like, for example, okay, I would just make a blueprint of three machines. Now that's fine for coal, right? So you need a 3-2-1 pattern for that. Okay. So let me put a thing out here. Right. There you go. And there's 1, there's 2, there's 3. So that's that. I would blueprint that. But also, I'll probably need some for sideways actions. So let me just set this up here. Okay, do that, and we'll put this line in here like this, and then 1, 2, 3. So this will get 2. Yeah, see, like, okay, there we go. There's 2. There's 1, and 1, 2, 3. All right, so now, see, I can blueprint that as just its own little module. Then when I go to actually, like, put power down, unlike when I was going through the playthrough and a lot of my blueprints were, like, all ticked off about trying to set up a lot of these machines, I'll just work the miners around it and then just plop these down around them. Right? I'll just, like, if I get 7 machines down, well, then I know I can get 7 of these down, because we know that's how it is, right? Right. Well, in that, well, I mean, you could do belting or supply later, but really, on this planet really shouldn't be doing anything more then red and blue science. Yes, obviously we're going to do all the science here, but once I've got the oil set up and I'm running plastics, everything's going to happen on the second planet anyway. So like carbon nanotubes, all that stuff. In fact, this here, this little bitty bit of graphene isn't for science. This is my own little supply just to have, right? I mean, there's only 2 machines here, and they just make enough for me to mess around with, so as I have it here on the planet. This was never supposed to be like a grand supply for science, right? That is definitely what Marana is for, right? So, Marana provides graphene from the ice, and she does the carbon nanotubes. She's also doing all my extra, all my extra stuff. Now, yes, she will also do eventually purple people eaters, right? Because we need Marana to do the purple people eaters. Oh, that's more than enough. We need her to do purple people eaters because she's also doing green science, which needs green people eaters. But my initial purple people eaters is for towers, right? Just towers and the necessity for making spaceships, right? So I need purple people eaters to get my first couple of towers up and running, and to get a few towers of these up and running, because of course you need 20 of everything. It's crazy. So this isn't supposed to be like big supply. This is just to be, let's get things started, and that's the thing. Now, that being said, go back to engines. Titanium is the other one. Titanium ingots. So the titanium, of course, comes off-world, but the ingots are coming here, and I am going to clean this up. So here's the acid. Now, we usually ship this acid off-world in this tower. This tower is actually very important. This is the only acid we ever make, and it's very important. I borrow a little bit of it here to make a little bit of graphene, but we just make the acid here because the oil's here, and then we ship it off planet. That being said, we do need some of that here. So, now the thing is I am actually bringing in, this is where we're actually getting that titanium ingots at. What is this tower doing? So this tower is only doing the one thing. I think I'm going to transfer titanium ingots from down there to this tower, because I think it will be faster. Now, not to say that's going to cause me a big headache. Let me see how much of a headache it's going to actually cost me. Is it a huge headache, a little headache, a big headache, like a really big headache? So you got raw stuff coming in here. You're shoveling stuff up here. I'm just seeing how fast everything's using everything, right? I'll bet you I could sneak that in there, right? So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take titanium out of here, and I'm actually going to shove it into this tower up here instead, and then I will actually make titanium ingots right here, because I think it will be the more efficient way to do it. I mean, the acid's already here. I mean, you've already got the machines here. Steel is the only question mark. But, I mean, if I really need to, I can sneaker lift it down here for a start. And then once I get drones up and running, well, I could put, I could use one of these towers up here to put the steel into up here and then just fly it down in drones. I think that's the way I'm going to do that. When I initially did the playthrough, of course, all the way down here at the very bottom of the planet is this one tower, right? And this one tower is bringing in space stuff, right? Carbon nanotubes and all this stuff. But I must admit, it's not very efficient for the speed run to do that. It's better for me to pull the stuff in right where I need it. So I think what I'll do is I'll forego that tower, and I'm going to use this tower here to pull in I'll pull in the titanium to that tower, and I will also pull in probably the carbon nanotubes. But I do need something for this tower, right? What is it I need for you? Yeah, I need them. See, there's this crystal silicon diamonds, and there's the carbon nanotubes that we would get from the other planet. So I may still need this side tower just to kind of empty things over onto it, but that gives me, I have 4 slots, which allows me titanium, the carbon nanotubes, the crystal silicon, and then that gives me the fiber op is coming back out. What am I doing with the fiber op? Fiber op is going somewhere. It's not used in yellow science. Oh, it's used in purple science, right? I think so. That's where it's used. And if that's the case, well, then that tower can keep that anyway. Right? Purple science? Is that your thing? Yeah, you're used in purple science anyway. Okay, cool. That works out good. Yeah, so then I can eliminate that tower at the very bottom. I think it's the way I'm going to do that. Okay, so now I can actually... I'll mostly check a little bit of this off over the weekend. Again, I am still having to deal with a lot of... just because I recovered from the crazy medical sickness that I had there, holy smokes, for 8-9 days. I was so sick. I was just so sick, and I was struggling over the holidays with that weird stomach bug, and then things all went sideways after Christmas. There, with I don't know what I had, but it went wild. Anyway, so this is all cleaned up. This is cleaned up. All of this down here is good. I've got this. The mall is now all cleaned up, and it can even make me purple people eaters there. Well, I did have the procedure done for my prostate, but it's not cured, right? It's kind of a temporary fix. So I am still dealing with a lot of issues around that. And of course, I still got to wait for this gallbladder surgery. So I'm kind of still, and I still have these fevers at night. I still don't know what that is. Like later in the evening, I keep getting these low-grade fevers. It's like they're just sticking around. It refuses to give up, right? Anyway, I mean, it is what it is. I still take medication for it, and it's not holding over, but I do get wore out really fast, like in the evenings. Like as soon as that low-grade fever hits every evening, it's like, ugh, wears me out. Winter stinks. I hate winter. Anyway, nevertheless, it is what it is, people. I can't, I try to negotiate with Mother Nature. She's not hearing any of it. Turns out, she's on vacation and not taking orders at the moment. Who knew? So with that, I'm Max. This is Dyson Sphere Program, the Wraith, but the zip mode, as I am doing preparation for the speed run. Now, on the next episode, we are going to do another prep, but it's on the next planet. It's going to be over in Marana. Marana is going to handle that. So we're gonna head on over to Marana and visit over there. We of course got to get ready to double check all the primary stuff, right? Of course, we're gonna keep doing the stuff and the things, man. That's what we do. Of course, a big thanks to Mr. Johnson and Sawyer for stopping by, saying hi, all the things. Of course, big thanks to recent subscribers, as their names are going at the bottom of the screen. Of course, and to those watching later on, I appreciate that very much. So of course, I may or may not play tomorrow. Again, this has been an off day. I've had a headache all day, a little more fever than so I thought, you know what, maybe I was going to play Starfield tomorrow, but if I'm not feeling overly well, I might pass on it and just rest up the weekend so as I can get into next week, right? We're supposed to have really cold weather here for the next 3-4 days. I know Mr. Johnson knows about that. He says he's going to go through it. So that cold weather, like the cold weather finally really arrived here yesterday, and I think that's playing a little havoc with my health as well. I don't know. It's just been a quirky I guess I can't complain. The last 3 winters, I've gotten to buy really, really slick. So I guess I'm paying for it this winter, right? You know, the piper needs to be paid, people. The piper needs to be paid. You can only skip out on the taxes for so long. It is what it is. I want to thank you all for hanging out and doing all the things. So if I am feeling well enough, I may do a little Starfield tomorrow. But if not, we'll put out the schedule there on Sunday, and we'll see how it goes. I want to thank you all doing all the things. I'm off to go have a bite to eat, and I will see you all on the next one. Take care.